Hello, students. It's Mrs. Durst, and today we are going to use watercolor paper and oil pastels. So you can see that I'm using 3 shades of oil pastels. You will get probably a warm and 2 cools, or 2 warms and 1 cool in your kit if we are at home. But if we're in the classroom, you would have more selection. So we have decided to try to work with the 3 colors. And in our last session, we worked on practicing our cylinder shape and the plate that our mug will rest on, and our handle, our wallpaper, and our tablecloth. So we are going to use our practice on our real watercolor paper. So I'm going to turn it around and we are going to work together to mimic our practice on our real watercolor paper. Now, number 1 rule with oil pastels is that we don't brush off the crumbles that you'll see. That will smear the oil. And it's just a habit. I have to always remind myself when I'm working with oil pastels not to brush off the oil pastel. So here I go. Now I'm going to work with my mug first. And the most important shape that we're going to start with is that oval. And we have been working on that oval for a while. Now I want my mug to be kind of in this space. So if I look at that, this is where my oval is going to be. It's not right in the middle. It's a little bit above the middle, just by a titch. And then I'm going to start and make my oval, just like that. And I'm going to give it 3 coats of oil pastel. Okay. That ensures, and you can see I got a little bit of a crumb here, and my first instinct is to go, I got to wipe that off. But don't do it. Do not do it. Put it on your practice, like shake it off. It's hard not to do it. And some of these little crumb bums, they're fine to keep. So I am going to bring my line down in kind of this taper and give it a good 3 treatments of oil. That ensures that my line is nice and meaty. And then I'm going to bring it across in a curve, like so. Okay, so far so good. And you can see my cup's a little bigger than this one because I have more space. That's why that's a little different. Okay, so let's go with our handle. I'm going to keep with this handle. I kind of liked this handle for this cup, giving it 3 lines, just like so. Oh, just taking your time. It's very smooth, isn't it, to use an oil pastel. Now we're going to do the plate. And remember, we start up on our cup a bit so that our plate looks like it's 3D as well, and that our cup is comfortably sitting on its plate. So move up this line before you start your oval and bring it, whoop, oil pastels will break. I actually prefer the little bits to work with. So I'm just going to keep working with my little bit that broke off. Oh, yes, that looks too good. And that's going to go right in there. Okay. So now my cup has a plate. How nice. And the one thing I think I am going to do on this plate is give it a second line. It's a little different than my practice, but that's okay. I think that'll set it off a little better. You do it your way, or the way you feel you want your plate to look. Okay. And now I'm going to mimic this design that I started on this one with the kind of diamond. Let's see, this way, and that way. And I'm going to give it its detail. And remember, you got to go over it 3 times with the oil pastel. You really want your line as meaty as you can get it because it is going to resist that watercolor, okay? And our oil pastel is hydrophobic, and that's the chemistry we need to get the end result we want, okay? So, okay, I kind of dig it. I'm going to put some of these little diamonds in here. Even your small details need a meaty line, okay? That's why we did our practice in crayon, because crayon doesn't let you get real fine detail. So that kept us from planning on a lot of detail. Okay, so I did that. Okay, and I think I like these little lines here. I'll mimic, giving them 3. Okay, Mugga And please notice that my lines are very meaty and I have lots of crumb bumps. So I'm just going to shake them off over here onto my practice paper. Okay, I don't want to wipe it. So I'm going to put my purple aside and I am going to work on my tablecloth design. The most important part is, of course, this horizon line, which makes our whole piece make sense. So if I put my horizon line way down here, it will look like my mug of hot chocolate is about ready to fall off the table. So we want to put our horizon line back here so that it looks like our mug is sitting safely and comfortably on a tabletop. So I'm just going to put it somewhere in the back here, and it would go across and here and here, just like so. Okay, so that is my horizon line for this piece. Okay, now I'm going to say, yes, I'm embracing my little blue flowers. I think they're sweet. So you go and take your time and create that tablecloth that you want to get in your piece, okay? There are some we've looked at with little stars. We've looked at stripes. You could do teardrops. Some kind of repeating shape just always looks like a real tablecloth. So I'm just gonna do a few. This flower is halfway on my tablecloth. And again, I'm even in the small detail trying very hard to get 3 treatments of oil pastel in there. Okay, so I'll finish that off and you finish yours off. And of course you can always pause the video, but I wanted to get to my wallpaper and I really like this stripe. I think that's the way I'm gonna go, but I wanted to show you what my plan was. So I'm gonna turn my paper over and I'm gonna get my stripes on with 3 treatments on each stripe. Now, lines may not be fully straight, right? And that's okay in this piece. The quirkiness of your lines, maybe the fact that they're not perfectly straight, I think give this particular piece that we're working on a lot of character, it's called. So don't worry if there's a little blip in your lines. It actually gives this particular art piece a lot of character. Now, you will have some of your wallpaper and tablecloth showing through your handle. Make sure you understand or deal with that inside of the handle or it won't look as real when we're done. Let me show you how I'm going to do mine. So I have this line and so it would go in here somewhere See how that would have gone in there? And this line is behind the cup, okay? And then I have room for one more line. Okay. So far, that's my wallpaper. With your oil pastel, you may want to peel off a little area if you get down to the paper. And that's okay too. The paper's really there to keep your fingers from getting yucky, but hey, what's a little yuck? It doesn't hurt us. So I'm gonna do some polka dots in some of my stripes, like every other stripe. That is gonna be, oh good. That is gonna be my kind of treatment to this wallpaper. I'm gonna do this. And my plan as I'm looking at my piece is that I think I'm gonna use a lot of complementary color work in this one. So my orange will maybe have some blue in it, and my purple will have some yellow in it. Okay, now I have to treat this wallpaper as if it's going behind my cup. Okay, right there and right there. So there would be a little dot there, and then this dot would be there. Okay, and then I'll just do the rest of my wallpaper. Okay, so in this lesson, you're really taking your time, tap, 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 to get 3 treatments of oil pastel. Look at that, it's stuck to my finger. Oh boy. Yee. Finish all your oil pastel work with 3 levels of oil pastel. And remember, try not to wipe it because it will smear. But I'm going to just finish the few little lines on my tablecloth and then let it sit, okay, and let it cure up a little, okay? Take care. See you next time.